Happy Independence Day, everyone! Today is the 4th of July, 2025.
The fireworks show.
Yes, yesterday we went to see a fireworks show. And today Oz and I are going to give a video, a short training video about independence and how to get independence through your phone. Your phone is a very, very powerful tool that can help you a lot in business and can do really a lot for you. And you need to know how to work the phone, okay? And what I mean by that, we're in the real estate business. We get people that call us on the phone all the time, and they have questions, and we have answers. So we're gonna take a few minutes, and we're gonna talk about the flow of a conversation for when someone calls you to ask about a rental unit or a house to sell, to buy, and so on. So you get the phone call. I always just say, hello, Adam speaking. How can I help you? We're here to help. So we introduce ourselves, and then we need to listen. And they're going to tell us what they're calling about. Oh, I'm calling about the sign I saw. I'm calling about the ad I saw. I'm calling about this unit, about that unit, this house, that house. I want to buy a house. I'm looking to rent a house. They're going to share with you the reason for their call. If they're not sharing that reason, then you need to ask, how can I help you? Like, what can I do for you here? So they'll tell you, I'm looking for an apartment for rent. And you're going to say, great, definitely would love to help you with that. And then you want to start getting into a series of questions, okay? And we want to find out as much as we can about the prospective tenant, the prospective buyer. We want to find out as much information as we can in that initial phone call. It's almost like we're already starting to do some sort of an application process, okay? We want to get to know them. So we want to get information from them, so we're going to start asking questions. Now, you're not putting them under an interrogation by the FBI or the DEA or whatever. So you just want to be kind of friendly, always smile when you're on the phone. That's a good rule to follow. The smile, believe it or not, goes through the phone, and the person that's listening to you sees that smile. So you start asking questions, not in an interrogating kind of way. But I always like to start with, okay, that's great. Can I ask, how long have you been looking for a place? Why are you looking to move? Okay. Of course, we ask for their name. And by the way, you want to capture all that information, okay? You get a lot of phone calls during the day, and you're not going to remember who you spoke with, when they called, what number they called from. So you want to capture that information. Of course, you can use systems that record the conversation for you, so that's something that you can do as well. But you start talking to the person that's calling you. What's your name? How many people is it for? Do you want to find out if they're roommates, if they're a bunch of people that are workers that are looking to share a place? Maybe it's a family, young kids, no kids. Just want to start understanding who you're potentially going to be renting to or selling to. So you want to see if they have pets, what kind of pets, okay? We don't want killer breeds in our properties, for example. No pit bulls, no Rottweilers, and those kind of dogs. Just the insurance won't let us do that. It's not necessarily that we're against it. So you ask the questions and you do it in a conversation that flows. And the idea is at the end of the day, you want to help them, okay? You want to try to help them. So you want to listen to their needs. And they'll tell you, I need a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, this area, that area, garage. So you need to already have also some sort of information to give to that person, so that can help with that sale process. So they call, you start talking, you're asking those questions. Let's kind of go over those questions one more time. We'll just kind of be more organized on the questions. So your name, please get their name. When are you looking to move? That's a very important question.
Are you going to have to pay for it, the house?
Yes. Definitely.
Are you going to live there or rent it?
Yeah, you'll ask, do you want to rent or do you want to buy? Exactly right. And then you're going to also find out
Is it apartment or just a house?
Exactly. You're going to ask, are you looking for an apartment or are you looking for a house? And they're going to let you know, oh, we want a house. And that's fine. And they'll let you know, we want an apartment. And that's great. So we're going to try to find them the best suitable place for them. That's the idea. So we also ask how many bedrooms they need. There's no point of trying to sell a 2-bedroom house to someone that wants a studio. That's just not going to work. We also always want to ask like how many people it's for, and to find out if it's like a family, a couple, boyfriend and girlfriend, single person, just kind of understand that. Any pets. And then I always like to get into what do you do for work? That's a very important question. In our company, we only rent to people that work. No work means that they can't pay rent. Now, yes, there's some government programs and things like that, but we do some of that.
Just don't party in there.
Exactly right. We want to make sure that they're not going to party. And so we want to find good people to rent from us and good people to buy from us, especially when we sell on contract. We like to sell properties on contract. That's a long-term relationship we're building with someone. And so we want to create really good relationships with people and not people that want to party all the time. I love to party, and my son knows that very well.
Yeah, you always go sometimes.
I do go to parties.
Only to Tiesto.
Tiesto's my favorite. I go raving a lot, for sure.
Your favorite DJ.
Yes. But there's a time and place to do it. I don't party in the neighborhood all day long and have the cops come over. You know, that's the parties we don't want.
And try to not make a mess.
Definitely don't make a mess. I love that. We want to find people that are working, because if they work, they can pay rent. So one of the first questions also we ask is, what do you do for work? And then you listen.
Just don't let dogs in there. They might poop in there. Make a stain.
That could be the truth. Some properties we allow to have pets, and some properties we don't allow. So it depends on the property, depends on the owner. But yeah, sometimes they can have pets, certain pets.
Sometimes.
Yes. And so what do you do for work?
Just don't have 12 pets.
Right, not too many. So then when they tell us what they do for work, then we want to try to understand a little bit more on it. So we ask some more questions. How long you been there? What do you make monthly? What's your monthly income? That's a very important process of renting. We always want to make sure that whoever we put in our properties is working and making enough money to pay the rent. So if the rent is $1,000, we want 3.5 times the rent. So we want to have a combined household income of $3,500. Combined household income. So sometimes they'll call and they'll say, oh, I make 2,000. And then you ask them, how many people is it for? It's like, oh, me and my husband. And she's like, oh, okay, so your husband. And what does your husband do? Oh, he works in construction. Okay, and what does he make a month? He makes 5,000. So she makes 2,000, he makes 5,000, that's 7,000. The rent is 1,000, they qualify. Okay, but that's why you have to ask these questions. You have to keep going in. You have to keep looking for a way to help, because the conversation can end if you don't ask more questions.
Just don't leave your Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin in the house, don't leave it in there.
Don't leave your private keys anywhere. Do you like Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Good. So you have to keep asking questions in order to get more information, and with that information, you want to be able to help the person. So yeah, we do ask for proof. That's a great question. Keep asking questions, by the way. Okay. I love it. We definitely ask for proof of income. That's a whole separate video we should do at some point, but that goes in the application process. And proof of income can be a little bit tricky, because a lot of people, especially in the Latino community, they make money cash. And so there's different ways that we kind of handle that. But at the end of the day, yes, we need some sort of proof of income. That happens in the application process.
Try to not break anything.
Yeah, don't break anything, because he's going to go have to fix it.
No!
Who's going to fix it?
Tacho.
Tacho, exactly. Good job. My dispatcher in training. So, a lot of questions. Get to know them. What do you do for work? How long you been there? What's your household income? The total household income. Where do you live now? That's important. We want to be wary of people that don't have a place and want to move tomorrow. There's a lot of people, I want to move tomorrow. And sometimes they're great candidates and they're great prospects, and we shouldn't say no at the get-go, but we need to ask them a few more questions and really find out and make sure that this is the person we want to rent to.
And try to not steal anything.
For sure. And then when you talk to them, you already start building that relationship, the rapport. Okay, you have to start building that relationship. At the end of the day, again, we're looking for people that pay rent on time, take care of the property, and just live and let live. That's kind of our motto.
Take care of the property.
And so if you're talking to them and they're already maybe not so respectful, maybe not so nice, maybe it just doesn't feel really good, you know, something's there, just doesn't seem like it's right, you know, maybe there's too much friction or push, and they're trying to push us for something, and it just doesn't feel like it's the right person. Again, we don't discriminate, and that's a whole different story, and we're not going to get into that, but no discrimination. We're here to provide safe and comfortable housing to anyone that can qualify, that can pay rent and take care of the property and live and let live. But we have to start finding that out on the phone. And so we get all that information, make some notes, so you kind of remember. And then if they usually call about a specific property, and if it's not a specific property, you need to think about what property you already are able to show them that will be potential for them. And then basically you schedule a showing. You say, okay, great, when would you like to go see the place? We don't hide the price, the pricing. When they call, that's mainly people call about price. Okay, that's price is a big factor in this business, in any business. So we will, on the price, a few things. If they call about a specific property, then we know that that's what they're calling about. We know the price. A lot of times they'll call and they're not calling about a specific property.
But can they also go in the hotel?
Yeah, of course. And we have a lot of people that call and say, oh, I'm staying in a hotel now, I want to move in tomorrow. That's usually a red light.
Let's have some phones in case they need anything.
Yeah? We're not a hotel. We don't run a hotel.
You do.
We have a hotel in North Dakota, but it's a motel. So
hotel?
There's no housekeeping service there.
In North Dakota?
Yeah, you've been there.
It's like
11 hours.
We're going to drive there or fly there.
We can drive, we can fly. We'll see. We drove it a few times. But let me just finish my point really quick.
Yeah, okay.
Which was about the price. So they'll call about a specific property. If it's not right for them, then we ask them, like, what's your budget? That's the bottom line. That's what I'm trying to say. Like at some point, we'll give them the prices of what we have, and that's the price that we're asking. And so, yeah, it come up at any point of the conversation, we'll just give them that information. Because also, you want to be very transparent up front, because if it's too much for them, then, you know, let's end the conversation and move on. There's more phone calls to come, you know. Or we can say, okay, but if this one's too much, what's your budget? Maybe I can find something else. There's kind of this in marketing and sales called bait and switch. You know, they call about you put some bait and then you switch them to something else. So you can do some. Maybe it sounds bad, but I mean you can do bait and switch. You know, all that. You just switch to something else. They caught the bait on one property, it doesn't work for them. So we'll switch them to a different property, and if it works for them, great. At the end of the day, it's two people coming together and making an agreement, meeting of the minds. They look at the property, they look at the manager, they look at whoever's showing them the property, they say, this looks like a nice property, this looks like a nice company I want to work with, let's do the deal. So there's two people, there's a renter, there's a landlord, they come together, they sign an agreement. That's how it works, in a sense. The major red flags, if they don't have a job, okay? Now, red flags, it doesn't mean we say no, okay? A red flag means, okay, we need to check, we need to ask more about it. We need to find out a little bit more about the story. Another thing is, we didn't really get into that yet, but there's the phone call and then there's the showing. When you go do the showing or when they meet you again, you're gonna ask the same questions you asked, you're gonna ask them again. And they're gonna answer again. And you're gonna see if the answers that you're getting now are the same as the answers you got at the beginning. Cross-examination, we call it. So yeah, you wanna find out that, make sure that most of the pieces of the puzzle match.
Just don't leave your crazy kids here.
Yes. So red flags are if they are staying in a motel or hotel, or if they're staying in their car, or if they've been homeless. People will call you and say, "I've been homeless for 2 weeks," and you know, it's our heart goes out, and we will try to help if we can. And there's programs for that. But if there's no job, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So. Homeless, staying in a motel, need to move tomorrow, I want to move today. That's a red flag. Well, let's find out why.
Just don't.
A red flag is if they're evicted. Another question we like to ask over the phone is any background issues, okay? That's another question we ask. You know, is there any background issues we should know about? And that usually comes at the end of the conversation because it's more personal. But if someone has a felony from yesterday, you know, there's a chance he's not going to rent from us, okay? But if it's a felony from 5 or 7 or 10 years ago and he's cleaned up or she cleaned up and they're in the path of success and the path of hard work, then come, you know, we're here to give opportunity and second chances, kind of type of deal. So more red flags I can think of: fights with boyfriends and girlfriends, divorces, that's a red flag. I
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just if you say you're going to live there and just stay there for 1 day and just leave, you can't do that.
Right, yeah, we don't rent for 1 day unless it's a hotel or the motel. But we're looking for at least 30 days. We used to do short-term rental, and that's something that we could do in the future. There is a market for that. But our main business is long-term leases. Long-term. We don't do long-term leases. That's a whole different story. We do month-to-month only. But that's important because they'll ask you they're going to ask you a lot of questions also over the phone. How long is the lease? And so we do all our leases month-to-month. So if you're not happy, you can move out after 30 days with the proper 30-day notice. If we're not happy with you, we can give you a 30-day notice and you'll have to leave after 30 days. So we do month-to-month leases. We do accept pets with an additional pet fee. Okay, it's $200 one-time fee, and depending on the pet, between $35 to $65 per pet per month. So, and we can do some deals on that also, but pets, there's an extra fee. He wanted us to buy a parrot, and I went to the store all happy, like, let's buy a parrot. And then what happened?
We didn't.
But why?
Because it was so much work.
Yes, the lady saved us, saved me. Thank you, lady. She's like,
Thank you not.
We started getting all the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, he'll change it once a day, or we'll change it once a week. No, it's like every day you gotta change it, gotta feed them, water.
Not every day.
Every day. Wash things, and there's so much work.
Not every day. She said you can just leave
it. She said every day.
She didn't say you have to feed it every day.
Every day. Clean, change,
you can leave
wash.
it for 1 day.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for 1 day.
She said that.
Yeah, but it's not advisable.
You're wrong.
Maybe. I've been wrong before.
Lots of times.
And I will continue to be wrong, and that's okay. That's why I have you to correct me and all the people around me, because it's all about the team.
Okay. You made something wrong. We were supposed to buy a parrot, but you made it wrong.
So, questions that they're asked about the lease. We like to say to everyone also, you have to pay rent online, period. If you cannot pay rent online, we don't want you to rent from us, period. It's 2025. We don't do checks in the mail.
It's you.
We don't do cash. If you want to pay in Bitcoin, that's okay. We'll accept it. Anything electronic, okay? I don't want to hear no stories, and that's very important to let the people know. Have to pay rent online.
If you drink drugs, don't come here. Anywhere.
Heavy drugs.
Heavy drugs.
Yeah. So,
Only good drugs can come here.
yeah, whatever you said.
But no beer.
What? Yeah, I can have some beers. But just need to
Whole
keep tranquilo.
gallon? Whole gallon?
We like to drink. A lot of times they'll ask you questions, especially when you start, you might not have all the answers. So just keep note of the questions, that's important. And say, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer right now. I just started. But I'll tell you what, I wrote it down, I'm going to find out, I'll get back to you. So make sure you write it down, ask whoever, ChatGPT, your mentor,
Don't bring
your
any
friend,
guns.
your boss, your whoever, get the answer and then go back to them. Ozzy, what other questions about business do we want to talk about?
You can blow some stuff.
Yeah, we can.
But no, don't blow your house.
Yeah. Any other questions we want to talk about?
No jewelry.
No jewelry? No, questions about closing deals, Bitcoin.
If you know how to close a deal, just try hard to close more deals. Try your best to close lots of deals.
Yeah, definitely. We want to close lots of deals. The best way to close a deal, I guess, when it comes to rentals specifically. Yeah, to a rental.
You just, I don't know.
The best way to close a deal. Okay, let's talk about it. The best way to close a deal is to find a willing and able person, we call it. Okay, that's the first part. That's the first point. Is that the person that you are hopefully going to close a deal with, that's going to be renting from you or buying a house on contract from you, the first thing that you want is them to want it. We all want to want, okay? So basically,
we all want to wish for Bitcoin.
To reiterate it, you want to have a willing and able party. They're willing to do the deal that you talked about before, so you had a lot of these things kind of hashed out. We'll talk about that in a second. But a willing and able party, someone that says, yes, I want to rent this place and I have the money to rent this place.
I would rent it, not buy it.
So that's stage one. The second stage is the seller or the landlord, the property owner that's renting it, needs to say,
if you have any houses you're trying to rent, or you want to just buy it, or you just want to buy a hotel, try to make the people, if they rent it or buy it, happy.
Right. So as a landlord, the property owner, you want to agree to rent or sell to that person.
If they do something wrong or on purpose, kick them out.
Evict. Evict them. Yeah, but we don't like to evict people, and
if
we
they
try
do
not
too
to.
much drugs,
We do notices. We talk to them. Sometimes people smoke in the units or.
Don't smoke.
Yeah, don't smoke. So the letter of intent, the memorandum of understanding, is basically a document that you are going to ask ChatGPT to write for you. And in that document, you need to insert some data points, okay? And these are things of the following. One is the property address. Two is when the lease is going to start. How much the rent is going to be. How much the security deposit is going to be. We didn't talk about that. If there's any pets, how much the pet fees are going to be. When they're moving in, we just said that, how much the rent is. And then if it's a month-to-month lease, then you say month-to-month lease. Or if it's a one-year lease, then you say one-year lease. You basically list all the different agreements that you came to terms with. You have to come to terms. That's about closing a deal. You have to come to terms. All those terms, you want to what's called memorialize them. Memorialize them. Write it down so you can remember them, because you're not going to remember. And all this verbal agreement, that's bullshit. Excuse my language. That's BS. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Whatever is written, the axe cannot cut. There's a saying like that. So you have to memorialize it. Okay, now you say LOI, non-binding, so it's not a lease yet. It's not something that anyone needs to perform yet. But when you have the letter of intent, at that point, you both parties sign it. Both parties sign it. And then After that, you go to do the lease agreement. At that point, you really close the deal and money starts changing hands. We also like to get holding deposits. So if someone comes and says, yes, I want to rent this place, we want to get a holding deposit for them, from them. And so that just shows that they're serious, they want to do the deal. And you also just sign a holding deposit agreement. It's the same with the LOI, the same with the letter of intent. You can say there that they provided $500 as a holding deposit. If they get denied, they get that money back. If they come after a week and say we don't want it anymore, they might not get their money back. And it should say that all in that document. The document specifies everything. So there's no surprises. We always want to be super transparent. And that's about coming to terms, making a deal. You have to be transparent. You have to put everything on the table. If you said you're going to fix something, you need to write it down there. And
can I stand up?
Yeah.
Like this?
So that's kind of about the closing the deals. Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
About the phone, what else about the phone? The phone with this, that's not so much just about the rentals, but
phone is, don't always use your phone.
It's super useful in business. So your phone is a powerhouse, and you want to try to use it as much as you can.
Very dangerous.
To save time, to be efficient, send pictures, transfer information. A lot of people today, by the way, you don't even talk to them. You just text. You close deals on text messages these days. And that's okay also. There's nothing wrong with that. The same questions you ask if you were talking to them on the phone, you just ask over text. How many people is it for? When are you looking to move? What do you do for work? What's your household income? All that kind of stuff. But today people don't like to talk on the phone. There's still plenty of phone calls, but there's probably more text messages and Facebook messages. And there's a lot of looky-loos. And that's another very important point about the phone and the power of the phone and the power of the questions. Some people, they're looky-loos. Looky-loos are just, we're looking, we're not so sure, and they're not so sure. We don't want people that are not so sure. We want people that are sure, that they're looking for something with a mission. They want to get, that's how you close a deal also. You want to find the person that has the need. If they're just looking, they have a need for information, they can go to Google, they can go to other places, call other people that have time to talk to them. We don't have time to talk to everyone, I'm sorry. So you want to ask them those questions to find out if they're looky-loos or not. That's an important.
If they just want a job and they want their job to be renting hotels, they can do it, or they can help you do it.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty good for today. I'm sure I could do more. I want to keep it 4th of July casual. I'll dress up next time more.
If you're going to the fireworks
But it's all about independence, and go get your independence, guys.
Are you going to be recording? Can I record by myself?
No hay micrófono. Así. No hay micrófono. Así toco.
No answer. That's the lady who want to rent the shop.
Hi, this is Colette. Thanks for calling. Please leave your name, number, and the reason you'd like to chat, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Hi Colette, this is Adam Metzger. We spoke yesterday and you went to see that space over on Hubble. Got your text this morning. Didn't hear back from you after I texted you. Let me know if you want to close a deal. And I'm happy to provide you with questions, the answers to your questions. And if you like them, you come to the office, we sign a lease, and we move forward. So give me a call back. 515-204-6535. 204-6535. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Is he still recording?
I'm so old that back in the day, I would always repeat my number twice because I would call people on landlines, and there weren't cell phones that see your number all the time, So it's still in my mind to always give your number twice.
I'm gonna stick my hair down.
And when you call big businesses or when you leave a message, a voicemail that's not on a mobile, then you always leave your number twice. It's very important. And say it slow.